latest shit with Kevin Durant and Michael Rapaport? How it blew up?
Like the DMs?
Yeah, he exposed his DMs, and he was talking. Michael Rappaport's like, "Go help the kids in Brownsville, you piece of shit," and then all the sports talk shows like Undisputed and all them, they're all talking about it. Even had Michael Rapaport on there, and Michael Rapaport even kind of called himself out. He was just like, "Look, he's like, yeah, I've been in Hollywood my whole life. I've never. He's the king of shit talk, but he can't handle the shit talk." It made me like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Rapaport's a funny guy. I've been on his podcast. We had a really good time.
Have you really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. He's a funny motherfucker.
He's hilarious and a nice guy. It doesn't surprise me that he wound up calling himself out because, like, you have to have a little self-awareness, in this game. And can we all agree that sometimes social media gets out of hand? I mean, can we all agree that sometimes, we don't converse? First of all, it's no place for nuance. Number one, in 280 characters or whatever, or even a thread, it's no place for nuance, and shit escalates quick, and everybody, it becomes a game of one-upsmanship rather than an opportunity to find common ground and actually, have a productive, discourse or debate on something. I think that's problematic,
Mm-hmm.
But good for Rapaport for just saying, like, for having some fun with it. Because, like, there's a lot of times where I, like, you go for the easy yo mama joke because you're sitting on the couch and, like, who's this asshole tweeting at me about, stupid shit, with the name and these, fucking number salad afterward, who is this, but, like, sometimes I wish that, I would bite my fingers or be a little bit more productive and constructive, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes people are just dicks,
Yeah, well, Rapaport, I mean, he roasts everybody on his social media. He posts shit every single day on his Twitter and his Instagram, roasting the shit out of people.
It's hilarious,
it is hilarious. He's great at it. He's great. Yeah. That's a tremendous fucking talent he has.
Actually, I have a theory. It's kind of a funny way it brings it back to Savage, but, like, so I have a theory that what we've seen over, like, the last 20 years with the hyper extreme partisanship, basically everything in America, whether it's politics, whether it's Major League Baseball, whether it's, you name it, podcast, Twitter, everything has become the WWE. It's all, like, sports entertainment, political entertainment, social justice entertainment, whatever it is. It's like, and some people, I think, are playing characters or they have personas that they're kind of putting out there. But I'm kind of one person. I don't have a lot of, like, sometimes I'm a little more aggressive on social media, but otherwise it's just an extension of myself. But I think some people are very different people than they are on, say, Twitter, Fox News, a podcast, whatever, than they are in real life. And that's the WWE. What is it about? You go on Fox News, you're cutting a promo, right? Like, those Democrats, like,
right.
You're looking for storylines and narratives. You're looking, and what's better than a heel turn? What's better than, when a good guy becomes a villain, or vice versa? Those are some of the biggest. So some of those are some of the best storylines in professional wrestling. So I think a lot of this has become that storyline, beef generated hip hop. I think probably can get some credit for the, beef is good for business world when it doesn't, turn into something more violent. But, like, to me, it's all WWE. When we made Screwball, which is about Alex Rodriguez and the biogenesis steroid scandal in Miami, I learned that quick because everybody's like, because it ends, of course, like, A-Rod is, like, ostracized, right? He goes from, like, one of the highest paid baseball player in history to, like, this cheater, this liar. He's, he gets the biggest suspension of all time, loses tens of millions of dollars in the process, and then retires. And he's, like, kind of back in a ceremonial position on the Yankees, mentoring young players. He's back on broadcasts, and there he is posing with Manfred, the commissioner of MLB, who, like, tried to ostracize. I mean, they went at it like this this David and Goliath, or almost Goliath versus Goliath kind of battle of the legacies with Bud Selig, the former commissioner, Rob Manfred, who actually was Selig's right-hand man, who oversaw the entire investigation against A-Rod. It was a pretty shady investigation, by the way. Well, that's the thing. You come down to Florida, you come down to the swamp, you're going to get a little mud on you, like that's just, you roll around with us, a swamp creatures down here, you're going to get some mud. But, what was interesting is that, we end with like, again, their arms around each other, like all is well. And everybody said, like, how did that happen? Like, how did, and I said, listen, I said, it's twofold. First of all, it's the new American values. The new American, we used to teach our kids honesty, integrity, the golden rule, do unto others, right, as you'd have done unto you. Somehow it became the message we sent our kids was, it's every man, woman, and child for themselves. Lie, cheat, and steal, or do whatever you have to do to get ahead. And that's like, and that seems to be the message, lie, cheat, and steal, and you could be the highest paid baseball player of all time. Lie, cheat, and steal, and you could be the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Lie, cheat, and steal, and you two kids can be president of the United States. I don't think that's a good message for generations of youth that are growing up and will grow up now. But more importantly, what A-Rod did was the heel turn, the face turn. He was the heel. And now he was the hero. He was the baby face, and so Rob Manfred is the new commissioner of baseball at that time. The Vince McMahon of the operation, he's no dummy. He knows, which side his bread's buttered on. He says, hey, let's bring A-Rod into the fold. It'll be, if nothing else, it'll be good television, right? It'll be a good storyline. The blogosphere will explode. Ratings will go up. And that's the goal, right? Is more money. More eyeballs, more money, more clicks, to your point, and right. So I think that's what's happened. Everything has become the WWE instead of politics, instead of social media, instead of even maybe journalism. It's now entertainment, right? Sports entertainment. Now entertainment is the second word you almost have to put after everything. So what's Rapaport doing? To his credit, he's a comedian and an actor. Like, he's not he's not a political commentator. He's not running for office or seeking the public trust. He's an entertainer. And all things considered, that was pretty entertaining. I need to fill in the blank. I didn't get the end of that story with him and Durant, but I mean, I thought what I know about it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people say that it was, or I've heard a couple people say that it could have been him trying to distract everybody from the fact that he sued Barstool Sports for defamation of character, because that looked like the ultimate pussy move. Because, okay, so he worked for Barstool for a while as a sports commentator, and Barstool fired him, and then he talked some shit about Dave Portnoy, the guy who runs Barstool, the president of Barstool. And then Dave Portnoy, who's like the face of Barstool Sports, released a T-shirt with Rapaport's face depicted as a clown with like a herpy on his chin. And Rapaport sued Barstool for defamation of character. So now you have the king of shit talk who roasts everybody on social media, says the worst, most foul shit about you and your mother on social media, whoever it might be. That dude has no boundaries. Suing somebody for defamation of character for a clown T-shirt, that didn't look good. So, and then literally like the next day is when the Kevin Durant beef came out. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You didn't hear anything about the Barstool stuff?
No, now that you mention it, I think I might have. I just didn't do a deep dive. I mean, listen, again, sports entertainment, blog entertainment, like even the lawsuit sounds like fun. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know, the whole thing just plays like television or drama or comedy or tragedy, depending on, I guess, how you look at it. What was that Mel Brooks's definition of what's the difference between tragedy and comedy? Tragedy is when I trip and fall and break my face. Comedy is when you trip and fall and break your face. So I don't know, like, but again, everything you just described to me sounds like the WWE. You know what I mean? Like
you're totally right about that.
Yeah.
About everything means WWE.
In a way, what we were talking about with the Hulk and Randy beef, where kind of like it all spills outside the ring and the line starts to blur between the kind of persona and entertainment versus real life, or, like, how does sort of like Twitter beef, how does tweef kind of like spill out into litigation? Like, I mean, I don't know. Listen, it's the reason why you and I still have jobs. It's the reason why there's podcasts, there's a lot of shit to talk about. There's a lot of shit to make documentaries about,
Yeah.